and his eyes nearly pop out of his sockets when he realizes that he is sitting with Daeon. But Jin doesn't rush in immediately. Instead, he stands silently behind the wall while his sister and the guy continue their chat. Daeon asks how long he's been in Korea. The guy is initially silent, but eventually says he'll stay until he's finished with what he's doing here. She smiles and remarks that he must be staying nearby since she ran into him again. The guy confirms it, and states that he had some business in this area, but he also guesses that she must live around here as well. He then feels a bit awkward about asking such an obvious question, but Daeon reassures him that she doesn't actually live there. It's just her school is just around the corner. Suddenly Jin dashes in, and before 032 can react, our boy grabs him and throws him down onto the ground, leaving him in pain. Jin then picks up a chopstick from the bin and tries to jab it into 032's face. However, 032 quickly grabs Jin's hand, but Jin responds by swinging a punch instead. After their brief exchange of blows, both of them finally take a step back for a moment of respite. Jin feels guilty for dragging his sister into this mess and stands there, frustrated with himself. Daeon, on the other hand, is bewildered by what's happening. 032, clenching his jaw, tells Jin they should take this somewhere else because Daeon has nothing to do with this. Jin is surprised that 032 wasn't targeting his sister. When Daeon calls out Jin's name, 032 is also shocked to see that she knows him. She yells at her brother and demands to know what's going on and why he's here. But instead of responding to her, Jin tells her to get out of there immediately. The girl then asks him once again what he is doing here. But she suddenly feels a chill running down her spine by the serious look in his eyes, which is the same look she's seen before. She then points out that he's severely hurt. On the other hand, Femboy finally asks her if she knows Jin, and she responds that he's her brother, her older brother in fact. She also apologizes for Jin's behavior, explaining that he's not usually like this. The guy is initially shocked, but then smiles, seeing how big of a coincidence this is. Jin tells his sister to give them a moment, and Daeon quickly agrees. As 032 and Jin face each other, 032 comments on how he didn't think Jin was actually her brother, and questions why he's suddenly using this disguise. Jin makes it clear that he'll only answer if 032 answers him first. With that said, our boy asks him if the camp sent him here, or he just wants to take revenge out of loyalty just because our boy betrayed the camp. 032 is clearly frustrated by Jin's relentless questioning and eventually snaps at him, asking why he keeps asking the same useless questions and what good it does now. But when he looks into our boy's eyes, he eventually reveals that he left the camp as soon as he heard Jin had killed his friend 006. He further admits that he's not here because of the camp, but he's here because he wanted to avenge 006's death, because he was the only family he had. Jin reminds him that he and 006 weren't even close, so why is he actually feeling a great urge to avenge? The femboy kinda agrees, and points out that they never spent time together outside of training or missions, and he's not even sure if revenge is what he is really after. He is now not even sure why he just ran away from the camp. After a moment of silence, Jin reveals that his friend 006 is actually not dead. Not surprisingly, this revelation nearly makes the femboy's eyes pop out of his sockets. Jin further drops truth bombs that 006 faked his death and disappeared to avoid being found by anyone, and he does not want to even let his friends find him out. The guy is officially shocked, and he asks once again if 006 is really alive, and Jin confirms it without a shred of doubt. The realization hits the femboy hard, and he starts feeling pangs of guilt when he understands why Jin had been asking him the same questions repeatedly. Jin explains that he needed to know his true intentions before revealing anything. If femboy had been working with the camp, he would have immediately reported everything back to camp, so Jin just did not want to reveal anything without confirming if femboy is working with the camp or not. After getting overwhelmed by the news, the hoodie guy slumps into a chair and starts to snicker. He then asks Jin why the hell he's here. Jin, unsure how to respond, simply says he just came back home. The guy is shocked and asks if he is saying that the girl is really his sister, because as far as he knows, our boy had lost all of his memories. Jin replies that his memories have come back recently, though they're still a bit hazy. 032 asks if he betrayed the camp just because he got his memories back. Jin shakes his head and says it was because he couldn't follow their orders anymore. Then Jin remembers Daeon and gives 032 a serious look, demanding to know how he met her. 032, clearly freaked out by Jin's intense stare,